Hello, my name is Hope Milthaler, and I am the Director of Choirs at Kings High School in Kings Mills, Ohio. Today I want to talk to directors about fostering family in your choral program. I haven't always been an expert at fostering family. When I first got to Kings, especially the women's choir was full of a lot of drama, and really it wasn't getting any better after several years. So I had a student who graduated from my program and went on to Ohio University and decided to be a part of their women's choir. I recognized after seeing them several times with their director that they had such a lovely atmosphere. It seemed to be all embracing and caring, and it just seemed to be genuine. And I thought, why couldn't we have that? So when we went to visit the university, this young lady and I had a conversation, and I said to her, gosh, I just wish we could establish that even at the high school level in the women's choir that you remember being a part of. And she said, oh yeah, I remember, lots of drama. And I said, well, I don't know. Do you think that I should engage and try to change that and do something about that? And I'll never forget her answer. Her response was, if not you, then who? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I did a 180 and never looked back. And so here's how I managed to foster a better family atmosphere in my women's choir, and then how I made that stretch all the way across my program. First of all, I began a really strong focus on relationship, because you know the old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I had to figure out how to demonstrate to the ladies that they cared about each other and make that happen. Some of the activities that I started using, one of them is called Raise Your Board. So what we would do is write our names really big on these small whiteboards, and anytime something that I said was a descriptive term for that student, this young lady would raise her board. So, for example, I may say to the students, raise your board if you have a dog. Raise your board if you have more than 4 brothers or sisters. Raise your board if your parents are divorced. Or maybe raise your board if you have ever experienced racism. And so throughout these different questions, and sometimes I know of a situation that's going on where students need to be able to be heard, but in a non-threatening way. And it's amazing to see what happens when they see another face and learn another name of a person in the room who maybe they would have never before known that they had the same situation going on in their life. And I have seen unexpected friendships fostered through that experience, and I've never regretted taking the time to do it. Something else I've never regretted taking the time to do is just a really quick in-class assignment. You create a Google slideshow presentation. We called ours #blessed because we were singing a song about blessings. And so we decided to demonstrate to each other how we feel blessed. All we did was I created the slideshow, shared it with them in our classroom, our women's chorale classroom, and they took out their phones and they just picked a slide and threw pictures from their phone in, anything that made them feel blessed to be alive, that brought them joy, and maybe that uplifted them and bolstered them. And every now and then, if we had a moment, or if I knew we needed a moment at the beginning or the end of class, I would pull open that slideshow and we would see whose was next, or just scroll through and land on one. And we would let that student share who the pictures were of, or what the pictures were of, and why that made them feel blessed. And it just really helped foster that relationship element, but also cultivated some community as well, both of those exercises. Speaking of cultivating community, it's really important to establish a situation where every person who walks in the room feels as though they are embraced and not rejected. And that was a tough sell, but it was something that I decided was a non-negotiable. I mean, I tell them one of my most important jobs is to show you that no matter what society or social media or your own inner demons is screaming at you, we are all just different versions of the same human being walking the planet together. So why not walk it well? And so we embrace everyone. We embrace that new girl who walks in the choir and doesn't know who she's going to eat lunch with. Well, before she leaves our class, she knows at least 5 people who will sit with her at lunch, and has someone or a group of someones who will walk her to her next class. And that's been also a very big deal that the ladies really jumped on. And so we started doing that in all of our classes. Also, something to make sure that is happening, especially in a class where you are experiencing a lot of drama, is to make sure that really anything that's not serving the music that you are creating that day is left outside the door, and reminding them that they might be better off if they didn't pick it back up when they leave. Something that I have really enjoyed doing with my department, every single student in every single choir receives a Google form, and it's just one question, and it says, what is one word that you would use, the first thing that comes to mind when you are asked what it is like to be a member of the King's Choir family? And honestly, I didn't call it the King's Choir family the first time I did this experiment. I just said the King's Choir program. So after I received all of those words, I put them together in what you may have heard referred to as a word cloud. You take all of those words, throw them in the word cloud, and by frequency, the words are sized. So the more frequent the word appears, the larger the word in the cloud of words. And do you know what the biggest word was the first time I did this experiment? And it was after beginning this fostering and cultivating. A couple years later, the biggest word was family. What a moment. So that's something really neat that you can do. And that word cloud, by the way, is our mission statement. We don't have a formatted paragraph of sentences that nobody can remember. We have a picture, and it's a word cloud of all of the words, no matter what they were, that the students decided meant I'm a part of this, and here's why I love to be a part of this family. The last thing that I want to encourage you to do is to make sure you remember that once a student is a member of your choir family, they are always a member of your family, just like a real family. So foster the relationship with your alumni. Invite them back to sing on the football field, the national anthem, or the Hallelujah chorus at the holidays, or even that final song at the end of the school year. Or just invite them back for silly things. Just have some social media outlets where they can watch and see what you're doing and stay engaged. And the other students who are currently a member of your program will see that. And they will look forward to being a alum who is loved and missed, and who gets a huge, enormous hug when they return to visit with you.